the deputy president stands and accuses the NIS like he did in Mombasa. You know, we live in a community, and even the people who are in the intelligence sector live in a community. There is a community, a world community of intelligence. When you disparage such an office, such a high office that is supposed to make sure that you protect and give us protection in this country, Mr. Speaker, that to me is gross misconduct and it is impeachable. Mr. Speaker, when you go to State House and you say that you have put traps for some people not to access State House, yet they are members of this republic, yet they are people that we respect like Raila Odinga, Honorable Raila Odinga. Mr. Speaker, we say that we cannot continue like that because we had lived a very good life before this campaign started, from 2022, when people say that we are going to vote not anymore along the tribal lines. But we have seen that we have someone who has been given position of power and he has decided to use it for his own personal aggrandizement. Mr. Speaker, the people who are watching the interview yesterday, they sat and asked, how is it that the people who are of age and people who've been doing business have not been able to access 600 million shillings in a bank? How many business people here have accessed 600 million shillings, and what is their collateral? Mr. Speaker, you have had the deputy president lying in front of the television, saying that he has gotten this wealth from his brother, yet we know his brother has his heirs who are his sons and his widow, and those people are crying in Nyeri. The same way, people who are my members of parliament, my constituents like Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, is crying. His goats were eaten the other day in Roiro, and he's the one who sanctioned the eating of his goats. In fact, he then comes and lies to us that he has apologized to the president, to the former president, who is not in the country.
Your time is up. Ken Chonga. Ken Chonga.
Asante. Sijaokoka. Na nimesikia wenzangu kila wakichangia hapa wanataja sehemu fulani za Biblia ambazo kwamba zinaambatana na matamshi ambayo wanataka kuzungumza, lakini kwamba kweli kuna mbinguni na kuna hera. Nafikiria Rigathi Gachagua atakuwa kuni za kuchoma ambao watachomwa. Na kisa na sababu mstahiki Speaker ni uongo ambao kwamba Deputy President ameujaza katika matamshi yake. Jana jioni nilichukua muda wangu mstahiki Speaker kumsikiza hoja ile ambayo kwamba alikuwa anaizungumzia. Ninashukuru kunipa nafasi hii kwa sababu mmoja kati ambaye aliguswa pale ni mimi. Mimi nikiwa mbunge wa Kilifi South ama Kilifi Kusini, ile hoteli ya Gachagua pale mahali imejengwa iko eneo bunge langu mimi. Na yale aliyozungumza bwana deputy governor jana kuwa ni uongo mtupu. Sorry, deputy president. Kitu cha kwanza mstahiki Speaker, wakati King Charles III alipokuja ndio aende atembelee kule chini Kuruwitu, alikuwa amekuja kwa mwaliko na wakati alipofika kwa Kuruwitu Conservancy CBO, mkutano ule haukuchukua zaidi ya dakika 30, akaenda Vipingo Ridge. Ile barabara ambayo kwamba aliomba kwamba itengenezwe kwa sababu ange kuhifadhili Vipingo Kuruwitu Conservancy, ile barabara haipitiki. Lakini Deputy President akaona amepata nafasi nzuri sana. Ile barabara baada ya kwamba iende kwa Kuruwitu Conservancy, akachukua ile barabara akaijenga, akiipeleka kwake hotelini, imeshia pale kwa hoteli yake. na ninaongea kwa sababu mimi pia nimejenga hapo hapo. Bwana Deputy President alisema kwamba watu waliomba hiyo barabara ijengwe, kulikuwa na public participation. Ni kweli kabisa, tuliomba ya kwamba barabara ile ijengwe, lakini hii kwamba ni uhusiano wake yeye na wenyeji wa Kuruitu, kwamba ni uhusiano ambao ni mzuri, wanaelewana, na kwamba hata mbunge eneo hilo anajua. Mimi nasema ashindwe katika jina la Yesu. Siyajui hayo, sikuhusishwa kuhusu barabara ambayo alimepeleka kwa hoteli yake. Tatu, Bwana Spika, Mheshimiwa Spika, Deputy President alisema ya kwamba barabara ile inafaidi watu wengi sana ambao kwamba wanaishi maeneo ya. Akataja kwamba kuna vipingo, Shariani Secondary School. Mimi ninajua mahali Shariani Secondary School ipo, wala haifaidiki na ile barabara. Akataja kuhusu Shariani Primary School. Shariani Primary School ukitaka kuaccess unaipata kwa hiyo main highway ya kutoka njia panda ya kutoka Mtwapa kuelekea Kilifi na kuelekea Malindi. Kusema ukweli kabisa, yale yaliyokuwa nazungumza kuhusu wekezo ule ni wa uongo. Tatu, ile nyumba ambayo kwamba ilikuwa ni ya ndugu yake, sisi tulijua toka ilipokuwa zamani, na ukweli kama utafatwa itabainika wazi ya kwamba Bwana Deputy President aidha awe alinunua kutoka kwa ndugu yake ama awe amemwibia ndugu yake. Ni jambo la kuhuzunisha, ni jambo la kuhuzunisha. Akisema ya kwamba mali ile yote ambayo iliachwa, yeye ameachiwa percentage fulani kubwa kushinda wale watoto. Kama kweli si uongo, basi si anasherehekea kifo cha ndugu yake. Ni nani mwenye akili zake timamu ataacha urithi au peane kwa ndugu yake, asahau watoto wake, asahau bibi zake, asahau binamu zake, hali yeye anasema kwamba yeye ni mtu uko na mali? Mimi sijawahi kumuunga mkono kwa lolote, na ninajua nyumba hii iko na hisia tofauti na masuala ya Deputy President. Peleka public participation Kilifi South, 95%
Give him 1 minute.
Na asante sana Mstahiki Spika, na asije
this motion because many times I thought in Kenya, and I know I was born and raised in this nation. When a leader of a national figure discriminates openly, I left myself wondering if we can keep allowing to be divided every day, and yet as leaders we must be a factor that unites all Kenyans. I want to ask the Deputy President, what message was he sending to Busians who voted for Honorable Maina in Marachi West, in Butlak sub-county? And what message was he sending to Busians who voted for Honorable Talam in Buhayo West, in Matayos, Busia County? We should be free from Mombasa to Turkana, any person of any race, any tribe, to stand and be elected without being pointed at as this one belonging to a particular region and that one not belonging to our region. Because Kenya is our country and we are here in this country to build it. If we don't join, because if you go as an individual, you are a drop in the ocean. But together as Kenyans, we are an ocean. So I want to ask again, what other thing a principal assistant is supposed to do? According to me, unless you have a shrunken hippocampus in your brain, then you go displaying what your master is doing instead of being the real assistant, of even covering up. One day he says, I was sent all these things I was saying. I was sent all these things I'm saying. It's like he is wearing an oversized coat, oversized trouser, a tumbo cut vest, and oversized shoe. He does not understand his role as a principal assistant. We must unravel from the sins of our fabric in this country, because sometimes you can be wearing a dress or a trouser, but something keeps biting you. Unless you unravel or open up the seam to know what is biting you, you will continue losing blood and become anemic. So people of any nation are stronger than the people in power. All leaders in this nation must be responsible of the utterances they puke every day, because what will our future leaders be saying? I am, or who is our role model? Who is their role model? All of us must be responsible not to give hate speech anywhere we go. And I don't think there is a tribe in Kenya that is superior than others. Whether you come from Eastern in Garissa or you come from Siamahanga village where I live, you are equal. Article 27, Section 4 is clear about this, that we should not discriminate in Mount Kenya. Being tortured, being snatched property by the deputy president, whether she is Kikuyu and she's a widow, she is representing all the widows in Kenya. So Gachagua return the matrimonial property, the bank accounts, everything that you took from that widow in Nyeri. Because I was raised by a widow and I know what happens when such things happen. A widow should be given their rights, whether you have all the muscle in the nation. And thirdly, a leader who does not respect women, that one is not a leader. Calling women prostitutes. So when a woman is being a prostitute, who is the other prostitute? Then he must be the one. Because if you call me a prostitute, was I doing myself. There must be somebody in a trouser too. And we do not want to be discriminated. We have been dating, marriage, we marry Kikuyu, Luya, Teso, Kamba. That should continue happening than us growing up or children fearing to marry from Mount Kenya or fearing to marry from Nyanza. That is wrong. So Deputy President must go home. We really want him to just take a rest. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Muya, what's your point of order?
Speaker, I'm standing on standing order number 91 on matters of facts and substantiating what the member is speaking of. The issue of Malaya have been adversely mentioned in this House. Have you as the Speaker received anything to substantiate? Honorable Speaker, it is on record that the Deputy Speaker, the Deputy President has been closing the whole country, campaigning for the same women, especially in Mount Kenya where he was assigned. So it is unfair that members can continue repeating, you cannot substantiate, and there is no evidence. We should
You've
have
made your
evidence.
point. Honorable members, order. Take your seat. Honorable members, I want, with your concurrence, to reduce the time of the speakers to 2 minutes. Is that agreed? Is that agreed? For the purpose of the record, I'll put the question that we reduce time for speakers from 5 minutes to 2 minutes. As many as of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Didymus, 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I want to be very clear that I support this impeachment motion. I say so because Kenya, we have more than 42 tribes. And it was never our permission to decide which tribe you belong to, Honorable Speaker. And we want every part of our country to feel part and parcel or properly represented by our Deputy President. The continued dividing of our country in shares, Honorable Speaker, in terms of how many votes that a particular area voted for the government, Mr. Speaker, it is making parts of this country feel like they're not part of this country. I think, in a nutshell, Honorable Speaker, because of time, I want to summarize what I want to say by saying that Kenya as a country, the position of the Deputy President, it requires a patriot. It requires an individual whom, when he speaks, the country listens with optimism. It doesn't require an individual who, when he opens his mouth, part of this country begins to bleed. This country doesn't require a villager in the name of the Deputy President. It requires a patriot, a statesman. And this House, Mr. Speaker, we will go down in the history of this country because the war against tribalism, the war against segregating this country along shareholding lines, it's a war that we have come a long way, Honorable Speaker. It's a war that we vowed that we must win it in paying the last installment. Rigathi Gachagua must go home, not by walking, but by running, Honorable Speaker. I support.
Member for Wajir West.